Welcome to Stuck, Time to Improv. I'm Mary Scott with Business Riff, and I want startup businesses to be wildly successful. We need to know what big companies are thinking if you're going to do a startup that you want to be acquired. So today we're very happy to have Dr. Gail Martino, who works at Unilever, and she's a business strategist. Welcome, Gail.
Thank you very much, Mary. It's a pleasure to be here.
So let's talk about what kind of things, what sorts of big companies, and what are they going to be looking for in the future?
For a number of years, I used to manage open innovation for Unilever in North America. And during that time, I worked with a lot of startups, some solo entrepreneurs, and tried to work with them to say, how can you work with a big company in a more productive way? I think a couple of things. Aside from what big companies are looking for, I think the first step is for the solopreneur or startup to say, how do I even approach a large company? Because it is, I realize that it's very challenging. There are so many people that work at a company. Who should I be approaching? And maybe I would start there.
Okay, so you need to know what sort of problem your company solves as a startup and who in a big company would be interested in that, right? Okay, so if a big company has like a department that goes looking for startups, what would it be called and who would that particular person be?
Sure. So at some companies, like Unilever, they had an open innovation person. So you would go on LinkedIn and you might look for somebody with a title called Open Innovation, Partnerships, and so forth. Other large companies, and Unilever has this as well, may have a website that says working with Unilever. And then you can go through that portal and go in that direction. Things go forward based on relationships. So it's about strategically networking, whether it's at meetings on LinkedIn and so forth, to say, okay, I'll start here, but if you don't know who, if it's not you, can you tell me who? And that can help you get in. I will say that in the course of the week, I probably get about at least 50 reach out emails from companies and offering everything from, we do workshops, we have software to help you manage your innovation, we can do marketing, market research for you. Those are probably the top emails that I'm getting right now.
Well, that doesn't sound like a really good approach. I mean, my rule of thumb with startups and talking to big companies is to ask for advice. Mm-hmm. I don't know if you're the right person I should be talking to, but I have this concept and I would like your advice on what do you think it would be useful for. Because if you ask for advice rather than cash or to work with a company, you're showing that you are actually interested in whether or not what you do is going to be beneficial to them.
Right. And I think there's a difference in approach whether you offer a service versus a product. So let's talk about a service. So let's say that you're somebody that, I don't know, does workshops, right? So if you're somebody that does workshops, what to be clear on is exactly like what kind of workshop you do. Are you the person that an HR person calls when they have when they would need a workshop, are you the kind of person, and be super specific, that a packaging team needs, because you know everything about sustainable packaging and things like that. So be very clear on your value proposition, because that will get you to the right person and say, okay, this is a person who understands my problems, right? So I think that's one of the key things as you come through the door, and network. When you're talking about a product, in that case, there may be intellectual property that comes along with it, and that's where, if you have advice, if you go the advice route, you got to be a little bit careful on both sides. I can't tell you how many times that I've received an email about an invention and so forth, and those things may already be happening internally, or it happened years ago, and for whatever reason the business model didn't work and was passed on. So be aware of that. Get to know the person, start with the relationship so that you can be more targeted about what their needs are.
Okay. So what does 2024 and beyond look like? What kinds of things are big companies going to be looking for?
Well, we're coming out of digital transformation as a big thrust. And now we're into taking digital to the next level. The game has totally changed with AI and so forth. So I would say folks who are in digital analytics, folks who are familiar with AI, folks who know how digital analytics and AI will impact their offering, it could help or could replace, so that you can say, okay, I need to pivot a little bit, and so forth. So I think that those for sure, blockchain in the financial areas, those are the things that are needed. But no matter what kind of role or kind of service you have, those things that can't be replaced by AI are things like emotional intelligence, problem solving, and so forth are always key in demand.
Okay, well, thank you very much, Dr. Gail Martino from Unilever. Any other future possibilities that you think startups should be aware of?
I think, yes, I think they should be thinking about the future of work and how the impacts of digital will impact the future of work, and what will that mean for whatever their offering is. And here's a thought. If you go on to LinkedIn, you're going to see jobs, right? Jobs that are available. That means that company doesn't have somebody to do that job, but your company might do it, right? So what I would do is think about, think about the future of work, look at who's hiring in what kind of roles. If that's an offering that you could fill in the short term, try to find out who the hiring manager is through LinkedIn. Write them a note and say, hey, I see that you're looking for this. My company offers that. If you have any short-term needs right now, I'd love to do some work with you to show how we could work together, and then take it from there. So that's an idea to take away.
Well, thank you so much for all the insights, Dr. Gail Martino. This is Mary Scott with Business Riff, and I want startups to be wildly successful. One of the best things you can do to guarantee that is to book a synergy call with me at businessriff.com and join us again next time for Stuck, Time to Improv.